This guy right
guns,
here
titties,
loves
and
guns,
Jeeps?
titties, and Jeeps.
Real original.
Wow. Honestly,
I
I always thought you could only love two at one time.
Yeah, I mean, we all love guns and titties, but Jeeps too, that's...
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Oliver the Ricketts.
I'm Brittany. My ears aren't usually this big.
You've had them in a couple videos. And I'm Marco.
And we're about to go see Taron Egerton's Robin Hood.
Monsieur Hood.
I don't know who directed this movie. I can tell you what they did direct other than this, though. I don't know their name. They directed the pilot episode of Black Mirror about the senator fucking the pig.
Great.
Otto Bathurst. he also directs Peaky Blinders. A lot of people like that.
It doesn't matter, though. This isn't his movie. This is a studio movie, and clearly he's just somebody they figured they could bully into making a Robin Hood movie. I never want to go into a movie wanting it to be bad, but I'm also a realist. This is gonna be shit, right? Like, are there tits holding guns in that bumper sticker?
Guns,
Damn.
Titties, and Jeeps, but not nipples.
Do you think
Okay,
people are
what were
gonna
we
like it?
saying?
I don't want it to be bad because I don't like wasting my money.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be great. It's one of those kind of movies, you know? I just hope that it's not terrible. I hope that I'm entertained. That's all I can ask for.
Didn't they just do Robin Hood again like last year too?
They did King Arthur last year, and they were gonna make the King Arthur cinematic universe.
Oh,
But guys, the Robin Hood cinematic universe, Lil Jon movie next.
Monsieur Hood.
With Jamie Foxx, and I assume he has one hand. Or, you know what would be even better is if they just got the fox and the bear from the Disney movie.
Right, I would like that.
Carrie Yules, he's got it's like a Welsh pronunciation of it.
Who's
From
that?
Robin Hood Men in Tights and from The Princess
Oh.
Bride. Could you imagine him just being the role again? I loved him
Yeah.
as Robin Hood.
Just as long as we're better than Kevin Conroy when he, in the middle of the movie, decided, you know what? No more accent.
Yeah, I don't have really any expectations. I couldn't even tell you what happens in the trailers. I just know Taron Egerton's in it. I enjoy him.
I like how Jamie Dornan went from the lead in all the 50 Shades movies, but because of how terrible those movies were, he now is like playing like a supporting role in fucking Robin Hood.
That's who this is?
Yeah.
Oh, because he just came out and was like, yeah, I'm never doing a franchise movie ever again.
Oh,
the
okay,
fuck do you
sure.
call this?
I'm never doing those franchise movies ever again.
I'd like to count how many times they do the slow motion shot in this movie, because I think the last time that really worked was in 300. I just really hope that that Elton John movie that Taron Egerton is doing works out for him. He needs the win.
He's got the Kingsman regardless. They're going to make more movies, aren't they? I think he'll be fine as Elton John, honestly. Like, he has singing chops
I
to
just
pull it
feel
off.
bad for Taron Egerton because I feel like he's a good actor,
Yeah.
but he's just like not doing good
Right.
movies. All right, let's just go see this movie.
Yeah,
We're spouting
whatever.
a lot of nonsense at this point.
That's fine. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. I
We
want
don't-
everybody to know that I think Elton John should play a friar. I don't think anybody gives a shit about me saying my honest thoughts about Robin Hood.
Hold on, let me IMDb Elton John real quick just to make sure he's not in this movie.
He's not in this movie.
Hey, if you want to rent a dunk tank,
Google it like everybody else.
Yep.
but
look
do
at
it
dunk
after
tank
this, because
near
at the
me.
end I'll tell you how to rent a dunk tank.
Yeah.
So we just got out of Robin Hood starring Taron Egerton. I knew it was going to be bad. I just didn't think it would be bad in this way. I liked this movie when it was called the Dark Knight Trilogy. Somebody had the rights to do a Robin Hood movie. They didn't have a movie to make, and probably on in the background on TV was a Christopher Nolan Batman movie marathon. So they just ripped the beats off of that and were like, make it like vaguely medieval, but never explicitly say that it's medieval, because that way we could dress them up in clothes from Men's Warehouse.
Not even. There was like really weird stuff like in the costume design. That big party they had, I was like, what year is it? Is it the 80s all of a sudden? Like,
Yeah.
May Marian's dressed up as fucking Annie from Community.
her back hurts, alright?
It's just like really bizarre shit in this movie too.
Yeah.
Like the whole like war sequence that's supposed to be fucking Afghanistan. I don't know. Fuck this movie. What did you think?
There were definitely parts of it where I could see where what they were trying to do, but then I think that the movie had a bit of an identity crisis, and where like it couldn't decide if it wanted to be a comedy, an action, a drama. a superhero movie. Like, it was too all over the place.
Just convoluted.
Yeah.
And I think they were trying really hard to make a fucking superhero movie, but the problem with that is that Robin Hood is not a fucking superhero.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Taron Egerton as Robin Hood. I think that he was probably the best part of the whole movie. He's got the charisma. I actually even enjoyed Jamie Foxx as his character, but it's like everything else that was happening in the movie, I was just like, eh.
It's just like, there are scenes that work fairly well, like in a vacuum, or if it had a better plot, or if it had better dialogue. Weirdly enough, I thought Ben Mendelsohn was decent. He was a little over the top, kind of like Eddie Redmayne, Jupiter Ascending. Really weird stuff that he said, like when he was like, I'll bathe you in pig's blood so you can't go to heaven. It's like, okay.
At the end, his big moment, he's pinning him down, and suddenly goes, I'm gonna make you drink your own piss. And you're like,
Yeah.
whoa!
Like,
What?
0 to like 200. I want to talk to whoever was in charge of the pyrotechnics, because it's not how fire works.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that if they kind of went full cheese
Right.
on the action. Didn't necessarily make it like a parody movie, but
Well, with how stupid a lot of this movie is, it would have been nice if they would have treated it that way, because they take it so seriously the whole fucking
exactly.
time.
Like, if it wasn't so serious, it would have been a lot better. The cheesiness would have felt better.
Obviously, you have a shitty movie, you at least hope, like, okay, well, maybe the action is something. Honestly, a lot of the action scenes look like B-roll. Like, oh, we didn't have enough stuff to fill this scene on what's actually going on.
Yeah.
But I have some footage of people walking around the set in costume. At certain points, they change the frame rates on things, so it looks like you're watching a Best Buy TV, but then it goes back to being a movie.
The thing I had the biggest problem with was when the cardinal and the sheriff are like talking about their plan. Like, up until this point, you really don't know what they're doing. Robin comes in after that whole thing, and then the cardinal just immediately goes into telling his entire plan. It was like straight out of a Bond movie. He's like, all right, now that he's here, he can hear it. Now let me tell you my entire plan right now.
Like, fuck Jamie Dornan. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
His character was fucking pointless.
Which
and they
one
just
was he?
essentially
He
turned him
was
into
Will
Two-Face.
Strauss.
Oh, okay, so big fucking spoiler. Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? It's not a
Spoilers.
spoiler.
Here
The
you go.
movie's
I'm not even
stupid.
gonna fucking rate this before I spoil it. He becomes Two-Face. They, like, did it movie for movie
Scorned
from
lover,
the Dark Knight
yeah.
trilogy.
They did. They just didn't go in order. They started with Batman Begins with the training.
Right.
Then they went into Dark Knight Rises with all the shots of, you know, like
The
you were
snow.
saying.
There's the
Rallying the
sequence
troops and-
with Bane taking all the rich people out of the houses. That's in this movie. Two-Face becomes Two-Face in the same exact fashion with the same love triangle going on.
I think Taron Egerton should do a little bit more of a serious, like, acting role. I feel like he's starting to become kind of like a character action movie. Like, I want to see more from him because I know he's capable of it.
But that being said, that's the perfect fit for Robin Hood. It's just such a waste that it's in this
No,
movie.
yeah.
Also, want to point out, Jamie Foxx did a fucking Kevin Costner in the middle of this movie. We started with, like, a hint of an accent, and by the end, it was just Jamie Foxx.
Almost everyone's British except for like 2 or 3 people.
Number one stupidest part of the movie. There's one point in this movie where, like, they make a point to show you this is where all the peasants work, and it's really bad here. Look at how injured they all are, and look at how hungry they are down in these mines. You're seeing people who are missing limbs, like, before this, so it's like, oh, there's not, you know, they gotta work anyway. But then one dude walks by, and he has no arms. It's like, what the fuck are you gonna do in a mine? You gonna kick shit? Like, oh.
Maybe he's got monkey feet. You don't know.
Steve.
I also thought it was really weird after Robin gave the speech to kind of rally the peasants and the poor people. Will was like against it. They were like kind of debating. Robin was just like, listen, we have to do this with you. And Will's just like, all right, man.
Oh, well,
totally.
if you need me, then
Yeah, well,
then
you
I'm
need
down.
me, so sure. And it was like kind of like a 180 for him. It was like out of nowhere.
What I think is funny is, like, after he's, like, on fire, he sees Robin Hood and Marion kissing, and that's when he, like, becomes Two-Face. Like, they're in the middle of this big battle, and you see them have, like, an embrace. Like, I guess we're just not thinking logically because, like, maybe he was dying. Be like, oh, you can have her. And
Like-
it was so funny because as soon as he's walking, like when he first sees her and he's walking through the mine and he sees her like very like slow motion giving soup to like the poor and sick people.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, some guy's gonna walk up
Yeah.
behind her and kiss her.
course.
Anyway, great. Let's grade the
Let's
fuck
grade
this
it.
movie.
This is an F. It was gonna be an F minus, but I like
Oh,
the guy
shit.
with no arms.
A D plus. There's stuff in there that could have been good, but it wasn't utilized properly because of just convoluted storytelling.
I'm gonna give it a D plus as well. I was teetering like C minus D plus, but like a C minus would imply that like
That it was good.
like
You enjoyed a
that
good
like
amount of
40% of it
Yeah.
was okay, but it really wasn't. It's just like it sucks because I like Taron Egerton. I really liked his performance. I like Jamie Foxx. It could have really been like an interesting movie, but I just think the tone was wrong, the pacing was wrong, the movie was too long, the dialogue was weak, the action shots were weak, and like there just was way too many cons that, you know, I can't put 2 pros, Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx, and then 17 cons and be like,
So
oh,
big
this is
and
still a
still
decent
say it was
movie.
an
Right.
average
It's
movie.
not, yeah.
Anything in a C range, I feel like, is a movie that,
It's
on a
just
technical
average.
level, is good or average, but you did not like it and
Right.
dislike it for whatever reason.
So yeah, D plus is where I'm
Man,
at.
I really hope this Elton John movie is good for Taron Egerton's career.
Any fucking way. Here's how you rent a dunk tank. So you got to
Google
go
it.
online to dunktank.com, and